Yes. Well, that's all. And like you said, Sven, well, thank you for your time once again. And we talk about a little of this, the band. So tell us, first of all, for someone who doesn't know your band, how can you describe it?
Ooh, all right. It's death metal or death and roll Scandinavian sounding metal band. Uh, it's yeah, that's how I would describe it actually. Now, death and roll, death metal Scandinavian metal band.
Yeah, that's right. And get it into it. Yeah, it's pretty hard influence you had from the old school death metal, the old scene. Can we see in your latest single the so we can see a collaboration for making a little bit of glam metal style with the vocals. So
Yep.
it's how can you make that happen? What is the influence to make that 80s sounds in the death metal of school in the other styles as well?
I think the 80s riffing from King of the Sun single came from I wanted to learn Desire by by Ozzy Osbourne and some of the other riffs like Back at the Moon and all that stuff. And then instead of really finishing that, I just started doing my own kind of stuff. And I had that laying around for Baest. And then Lasse had something like that laying around. And then we figured out that, all right, everyone thinks this is fun. So let's try and do some 80s heavy metal riffing for the new record. Um, the old school Baest is more traditional Swedish death metal kind of thing. And yeah, we still keep that sound around. I think it will be more mixed up for the coming records. It's going to be even more 80s and it's going to be even more dismember entombed like. But that's the thing with Baest. I think we're going to try to do both.
Yeah, that's right. And we can see in your previous materials and the latest singles. And you also tell in the other interviews your huge influence for all that middle school in Tomf include. So what can we expect? As we said, we have a few singles, but with all the Colossal album will be released pretty soon. What can we expect as listeners?
You can expect more. mm, For nerds, it's gonna be even more carcass and death in some of the songs, and then there's gonna be a complete Iron Maiden death metal banger, and there's gonna be some AC/DC stuff going on. So I think it's you can expect everything, and I think it's gonna be fun, but also very different for the listeners, especially those who listen to Baest the past couple records. It's going to be different, but we think it's very fun and a very honest record.
Yeah, of course, and we can hear it on the singles. But in the composition, what is the difference between the your latest album and now? We see we have been working through all those albums. We have a lot of singles, an EP. What is the difference?
I think Colossal is close to the Justicia EP, where we are a bit more progressive and the riffs are branching from traditional metal onto um, yeah, heavy metal riffs. Um, it's going to be close to that composition wise. Um, yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. But it's going to be more classic, I think so. It's not going to be as chaotic and as death metal as previous albums and songs have been, but it's still going to be extreme, but in a more rock kind of package. It's hard to describe. I don't know. I don't even know myself what it's going to be like, but I'm looking forward for it to come out and see what people think about it.
Yeah, of course, but you have a very great reception for the singles now. We have, like you said, the latest single, and you have a few before. What can, as member of the band, what is your perception for the reception for all your fans and the new listeners of the band?
I really appreciate the reception, because it was, for me personally, it was really scary, because I know bands that I like, when they branch out a lot, I can have a hard time with it. On the other hand, I love Opeth and all that they have done, the new stuff, the middle stuff, and the early stuff. So I was hoping for that kind of reception, but I was expecting some blowback, which didn't come. That's really great. The next single is going to be Stormbringer, the first track of the album, and that one is more extreme than King of the Sun, but it still has that AC/DC thing going. So that's going to be, I think people are going to like that one. So that's exciting.
Yeah, of course. I already can hear that song, and it's really catchy. And that I can perceive that ACDC influence. So I'm sure the people going to love it. So, like you said, you have a huge influence since ACDC from Entombed, and you maybe a little bit with modern metal with your collaborations with the late Trevor Snar. So, can you tell us about this collaboration? What, how does, how can this collaboration came from?
Um, for the Trevor song that's on the last EP, that was, I think, Black Dahlia Murder and Decapitated also has like a big role in the bass sound. So the modern touch is always going to be there, also from Opeth and all that kind of stuff. Trevor was a fitting guy for Gargoyles, but for this one with Jesper Binzer, he's an original rock star from Denmark, and we didn't expect it, but we just sent him an email. We didn't expect any reply or that he even wanted to do it, but he wanted to, and he did a great job. It's still kind of surreal, it's like asking Rob Halford to sing on a song, and he just goes, yeah, no problem, sings, and then he joined for the video too, which was crazy. I don't know how he had the time, but that was a dream come true. And also it was a big leap, clean singing in a bass song. That's also very unusual. We haven't done that before. So luckily it worked out, taking that chance. Worked out, sound-wise. I think it fits the song. And yeah, we'll see what we think of next. Who's gonna sing on on another track? Yeah.
Yeah, of course, and that's a pretty good way to remember Trevor with the music. So, talking about collaboration, you are a band who are big work with collaboration very often. You're very comfortable with that. So, you have, like I said, since Trevor, now with Jesper. Now, what next? What the artists you want to collaborate with in the next song, in the next album?
Ooh, that's a good question. Michael Ogerfeld from Opeth would be huge. Because he does the growls, he does the clean singings. Everyone's a big, really, really big fan of it. But, the most impossible one would be Dave Murray from Iron Maiden. That would be completely for me and Les's sake. So that's, I don't think he will respond to the email, but we'll try to shoot him one and cross our fingers that he.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one knows. Maybe maybe can't happen. So talking about that, what's your perception about the modern metal? Like we said, you are oriented more to old school at 80s sound. But in the other hand, we have a lot of interesting in pro songs or bands. So what can you think about the modern heavy metal scene right now?
I think the latest record from Decapitated is a really good example of how you blend that extreme original death metal into something more melodic, catchy, without compromising each of those parts. And I really, really like that. I think at the moment, the popular stuff is, Lorna Shore, Science of the Swarm, all those kind of bands are really, really deathcore extreme stuff, which people find interesting. Also, new listeners, they find that extremity to be very, very exciting. I think Sleep Token is a funny example of how that whole metal identity branding is attracting a lot of new people, and now they branch out and do whatever they like, R&B and pop songs, and I think they should do whatever they want. Ghost is a good example of that 80s look and cult thing, also with a very wide sound, 80s riffing, Blue Oyster Cult riffing. So I think modern metal in 2025 is all of it blended into one. And I really like that. And it's going to make it even harder to find your own path and style into that. But I think Colossal, for us, really gave us something that's completely us. And at least we think that it's something new to metal and something original. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Everyone of their side are putting something into the metal scene. So now talking about your band in a show. Unfortunately, here in Mexico, we don't have the chance yet to see you live. But can you describe a show of Baest?
I would say, I hope it's like the early Entombed live shows, but with more 80s riffs and with more smiles. So maybe a good example would be uh, if Thin Lizzy were death metal. That's kind of our, that's what we try to do. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, that sounds very interesting. But when we watch your videos in YouTube, you can see a lot of energy and all synergia with your fans. So it's going to be very interesting see you live. So can you describe all that energy in the stage? How can you prepare it to be that kind of show, Sven?
Um, I think that's what we've been doing um, all the time. We can't do it any other way because we really want to play those songs and we have so much fun, and we're the same five guys since the beginning. So every time we go on stage, it's going to be the same game. It's going to be the same fun experience. We've had some shows, that are really, really tough, not a lot of audience, in some weird basement in Eastern Europe. Terrible, terrible conditions, but we still have a ton of fun. We can't help it. And we just gotta keep doing that. We're not gonna change anything because it's working what we're doing and everyone's having a great time.
Yeah, of course. And like you said, it's pretty interesting enjoying playing your song. And like you said before, it's with them with that mixing with the honesty, we have the results you already have. You are I see your comments on your YouTube videos and only see love from you guys. And it's a really exciting because when see the all that comments with Metal is in good hands, with Love That Read, they have a new favorite metal band. It's really you have something. So we can't wait to see to hear Colossal. So
Thank you.
like I said, we are talking with to Mexico. So what you know about the not only in Mexico, so Latin American metal music? Do you know any band, any kind of metal style here in Latin America?
Of course, we know Crypta, and we did a tour with Christian,
Oh,
the original Gauchos from Hell. Um, and it's, Brazil is very, very extreme. Also, like, what's it called? Uh, sarcophagus. In Danish, we call it sarcophago, which is wrong,
yeah.
but that's that's the dialect. Yeah, Sepultura, of course. It's extreme, it's fast, and that's what we hear about the fans as well. Pretty extreme, crazy. A favorite album in Baest is Maiden in Rio. So,
Oh.
that's also a dream to go there. We were supposed to go last year because we got help from Christian, but sadly it didn't happen.
Mhm.
Um, Hopefully this year we will. Uh, we're gonna keep trying because we want to feel that you know it looks like it's still the 80s crowd wise in Latin America, and we really want to try that kind of energy because we feel we bring that kind of energy to the stage, so it would be a perfect match.
Yeah, of course, and that's are going to go next. But as you see with that bands, with the videos here in Latin America, we are a very a passionate crew.
Yeah,
So we are going to be a very interesting combination with your music, with your energy in the stage, with all the people. We are you are making much, you are making madness in the
yeah,
stage. So we hopefully we can see you here in Latin America, here in Mexico. In Mexico, we have a lot of festivals nowadays, so we can hope we can arrange that. We know we depends it with more of one decision, but we hopefully we can see you there with the Colossal tour.
yeah. That's we should, and we just need your support means all of it. So try to tell the festivals, tell the promoters, and we'll uh, we'll come to Mexico as soon as we can.
Yeah, of
Or
course, and with that kind of band, like I said, it's we have a lot of love from your fans. I'm pretty sure we'll have this show pretty soon here.
awesome.
So for starting ending the interviews, Ben, what next for the band? Of course, you have the release of Colossal, but you have, like you said, more singles. You have the tour. What's next?
Um, that's basically what we're gonna do. We're gonna release the full album. We're gonna tour. We're writing the next album already. We have maybe 6 or 7 demos. It's gonna be. It's also gonna be something different. It's gonna be more 80s. It's gonna be more death metal, and it's gonna be really exciting to work on that. We're always, we rehearse every week together, so we're just gonna keep going as fast as we can. And Baest is a live band, so we have to play live, and hopefully we're gonna go back to. Oh, sorry. Hopefully we're gonna go back to the U.S. and Latin America and Canada soon. That's a little tough at the moment. Bands are getting rejected pretty much, but no, we're gonna try, and then some more Europe, and then some more rocking.
Yeah, of course, of
Yeah.
course. And like you said, you have a new songs already. That's pretty interesting. You are still working with the single style, doing singles, maybe an EP, or you are going forward to a next material.
We're gonna go forward to the next material, for us personally. But we're gonna support the album the next coming years. But we're writing every Monday morning to have the songs ready for the next album. It's inspiring to keep working and keep writing. And we're not a band that only meets up once or twice a year and then do a record. We meet every week and do riffs all the time. So that's how we work, and we're gonna keep doing that. And we're gonna play new songs as soon as they're ready, as surprises for live shows, because I think to see how the crowd reacts to a song they don't know is also important for how you're gonna finish that song. So that's the plan.
Yeah, that's right, and we are waiting for that. So, what can you say to all the best fans, to the new fans, the or the old fans? What can we expect about the new record?
You can expect more like the singles, but you can also expect more like the original first 2 albums. No, first three. You know all of them. It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be death metal. There's gonna be some carcass stuff. There's gonna be some death stuff, and then there's gonna be some Dokken and Whitesnake stuff too. And especially the last song of the album, Depraved World, is our tribute to Iron Maiden. And especially, we hope that Latin America will take that song very close to their hearts. Yeah, so expect, that's hard to answer. Expect all of it. That's that's the best I can say.
Yeah, yeah, we can wait to hear Colossal. But and the last one, Sven, a little more personal in a way. But what means music in your life?
It's everything. Every time something happens, you pair it with songs you're listening to at that moment, and that's how it's going to be the rest of our life. We have some Mark Knopfler songs that are pretty important in Baest because we played them the first time we toured the UK. So every time we put those on, it brings back the memories. Everyone in the band has those kind of songs for their whole life. So, and we're gonna continue Baest if we have success or if we don't. It's a part of us, and we have to keep doing that to to be happy, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, Sven. So only one more question that I missed. I know, well, here in Latin America, we don't have a lot of contact with Denmark, heavy element music, your music, but maybe Merciful Fate. But can you recommend us bands you know we are pretty good from Denmark, what we can hear?
You need to listen to. We have a deathcore band called Cabal from Copenhagen. That's really, really brutal modern deathcore. Then we have the Young Guns in Neckbreaker. They just signed to Nuclear Blast. They're going to support Gojira
Oh,
and King. So those guys, that's going to explode. And those are great friends of ours. We've known them since they were, 16, 17 years old. Um, another, we have Livesick, a great hardcore band, if you're into that. Rot Away. There's actually so many bands at the time. I'm gonna work with a band called Svartsheim. That's Exodus, early Metallica kind of thrash. So the Danish scene is exploding at the moment. There's a ton of bands. Um, yeah, you're gonna have the time of your life going into that one. It's all the genres, so it's a lot of fun.
yeah, we're going into that. Sounds pretty interesting. If you let me suggest something from Mexico, you can hear. We have some band like Cenotaph, like the Turkish, but he is from Mexico. We are playing since 90s, and we have a death metal old style. We're they played in Maryland Death Fest a few weeks, so we have you're huge, and we have a band called Trans Metal. They play since the 90s as well, and they play there in the Morris Sound. So we have a meme here in Mexico. They say a lot. They play with Glenn Benton from the chorus from one of our records.
Ah, cool.
So maybe we can hear that. The Dante's Inferno, that's the album that
Ah,
when that happened. So if you can hear that, maybe we'll be very impressed with in Mexico. We got some too.
cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. It's always fun to go into the local smaller scenes, and that's also what the community is about. Um, the culture, the small culture too.
Yeah, of course. And well, that's all from my part, Sven. I have nothing to say, but thank you for your time. We
Thank you.
can work in the interview, and we are sharing in our social media, in our website, and
Yes.
we are sharing with you and with the management, so we can sharing and do and check it out.
Yeah, cool. Looking forward.
That's right. For once again, Sven, thank you, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Have a
yeah,
nice
have a
day.
great day.
Bye.